What is going on, world? Welcome back once again. My name is ZacNovak and this is ZacNovak Plays Games, or ZacNovak. Still getting slightly better, so that's alright. Today's video we've got XURS, location and inventory. Through all the intros, let's go straight into the video and I do hope you certainly enjoy. Alrighty, so XURS is at the tower this week, chilling it down at the back towards where Dead Orbit usually hangs out. He's in his little corner. Let us go see, has the tentacle bastard actually got anything good or very decent this week? Well, getting straight into the video. This week, well, Zoran himself doesn't have anything amazingly decent, but still nonetheless, it is actually pretty decent. It's not the worst anyway. Let's start things off with the Starfire protocol for the Warlock. 23 legendary shards for this D1 exotic brought up to D2 and enhanced, I guess. Main perk on it is actually called Fusion Harness. Fusion grenades have an additional charge and recharge from empowered weapon damage, and fusion grenade kills also grant rift energy, which in itself is pretty decent. Not too bad, not too OP, but still fairly up there and being pretty decent in a lot of situations. Secondary perks on it, we've got ourselves unflinching bow aim, unflinching fusion rifle aim, and unflinching kinetic aim, as well as, but not limited to, we've also got ourselves scout rifle reserves and special ammo finder. Once again, pick this thing up for yourself if you have not got it on your Warlock for 23 legendary shards. But moving on, next up, we got ourselves the Dune Marchers for the Titans. 23 legendary shards for this fairly OP exotic. Now, main perk on it is actually called Linear Actuators. It increases sprint speed, and sprinting builds up a static charge. After melee attacking an enemy, that charge will chain damage to nearby enemies. In and of itself, if it's actually kinda, type of being surrounded play that you like, where you're able to hit one Thrall and a bunch of Thrall go down, this thing in itself is honestly fairly decent. Pick it up if you have not got it. Secondary perks on it, we've got ourselves a fusion rifle dexterity, hand cannon dexterity, and outreach, as well as limited to, we've also got ourselves scout rifle reserves and special ammo finder. Fairly decent, fairly good, definitely not anywhere near being OP, but still fairly advantageous in a lot of situations. 23 legendary shards, but moving on, next up we've got ourselves another pair of boots. These ones for the hunter or huntress, the Lucky Pants, being 23 legendary shards for this not very used often at all exotic. However, it does actually look pretty decent and cool. I will actually state that. However, we got main perk on it being illegally modded holster. Precision hits load one round to the chamber of stowed hand cannons, and hand cannons ready faster and are more accurate immediately after swapping to them. In other words, if you like running two hand cannons, this thing in itself is honestly really nice. It's actually fairly decent. It is definitely nowhere near considered as OP, but it is definitely kind of got some advantages in some forms of play. Secondary perks on it, we've got ourselves fusion rifle dexterity, hand cannon dexterity, and outreach, as well as, not limited to, we've also got ourselves a scout rifle scavenger and special ammo finder. Pretty nice, pretty decent. Pick them up if you have not got them. 23 legendary shards. But moving on, next up, finally we've got the weapon of the week being the Jade Rabbit. 29 legendary shards for this very OP scout rifle. It always has been, and fairly much so in it's a good scout rifle, and it's exotic. So yeah, main perk on it is actually being called Fate of All Fools. Chain body shots to gain bonus damage on your next precision shot and return ammo to the magazine. In other words, this thing in itself is honestly really freaking nice as a scout rifle. I honestly really like this thing. Pick it up if you have not got it. It also looks pretty cool with different ornaments on it. I do have to say that this one in itself for me looks pretty freaking cool, but also having the old school Jade Jester style does actually look pretty sweet, where it's just kind of camoed up and it's got a bunch of stickies, whatever you want to call them, stuck on the gun. pretty nice, pretty decent. Once again, 29 legendary shards. Pick it up if you've not got it. Moving on, next up, we've got ourselves the Consumables, the 5 of Swords challenge card for Nightfall to make your challenging Nightfalls more challenging by adding challenging modifiers to make those challenging modifiers already exist in that challenging Nightfall more challenging. It also allows you to get a bigger score and better multipliers, as well as getting that better loot. As well as finishing things off, we've also got the Invitation of the 9. Pick this thing up because, well, it gives you backstory for the actual 9 and some of the backstory for the lore that's going on in the game. This thing in itself is fairly easy to actually complete, 9 legendary shards, and yeah, it's not really too difficult. Once again, pick that up, and finally, finishing things off though, we've got the Fated Engram, also known as the Isochronal Engram, aka the exotic engram that'll actually give you exotic loot that you don't actually own unless you have all the exotic loot that is available from the loot pool. Then it'll just give you a bit of armor that actually has some different rolls on it, or it'll give you a weapon that you already own, or it'll just give you something you already do own. I myself am saying armor because I'd very much like some armor this week just to see how we go. But yeah, let us open this up and see what we get. 97 legendary shards. Is it worth it this week? We get ourselves, well, the Claws of Ahamkara. I like to state that the Claws of Ahamkara are pretty nice and fairly honestly OP for some situations. The perks in this aren't actually the greatest. We've got Bow Reloader, Linear Fusion Rifle Loader, and Energy Weapon Loader. We've also got Grenade Launcher Scavenger and Fusion Rifle Scavenger. Could have better rolls than it, definitely. But hey, that's not the worst thing that you could actually get, or I could actually get. But anyway, this has been Zor's location and an inventory for the weekend. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have found this video helpful, clicking that like button down below is seriously very much helpful. And yeah, leaving a comment, letting me guys know, letting me know what you guys actually picked up from Zor. Was it anything decent? Was it something amazing? Was it just something you actually needed? Or was it actually something you already had that had better rolls on it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Do all that good stuff. And I'll be sharing like Karen there. He was at Sharon. Share this video because this seriously helps the channel, helps other people to see the content, and kind of just, you know, gives me that little bit of motivation to make more videos. But anyway, this has been ZacNovak. Do all that good stuff. Once again, I'll be sharing like Karen there. He was at Sharon. Still haven't got my voice back, so I still can't do that properly. But until next time, once again, this is ZacNovak signing off. Peace out.